Good afternoon, everybody. This is the second day. I'm back from Almagro. We got back last night. The boat got there about 11. We got home about 2, I guess. Just wanted to go over a little bit of what we're doing today. So while I was gone, they got, this was a lot. They got this dugout of over here and that dugout, and they got this poured right here. And we're getting ready to pour this today. And you can see the PVC in there. That's a separator. And it's only to keep it the same width, because when you pour it, it's going to push apart. But that keeps everything the same width until you pour it. So the black over there, some water line. I guess they got PVC everywhere, but they cut some water line just for the separator, which is fine. But that form I see is not straight, it's crooked. But anyway, I'll deal with that in a minute. But right now what they're doing is cleaning this form up, and they're coating it with a little bit of oil just to help with the release. And this is what they poured while I was gone. They poured this top piece here, and it sat for 2 days, so it's a lot nicer than the ones they pop apart. It didn't break as much and chip from being so green. So they poured that while I was gone. And then this column they poured right here. So this column they poured, and they didn't do what I told them to again, which is clean this off while it's green. So, I mean, it's like, I guess nobody understands doing it now, doing it later. But it's more money if you do it later, because you get to spend more time. So anyway, they got this put back together. They're getting ready to pour this one. Getting this one put together. They broke these two because they were green. They were walking on them. Snapped them off. So we're going to put the form back on. When the form is done, I'm going to cut it, like I said, and then it'll be light. Put it back up, re-pour it with some rebar in it. That'll be a simple fix. So we're going to get this done. And what they're having trouble with, they're having trouble pulling the boats through these holes right here. Mainly because they'll tighten up these bolts first, and they don't realize it pulls the whole thing in, makes it hard to move your PVC. So I'm going to make a nut, weld it to take 2 nuts, weld them together, and then I'm going to grind them down so as they fit through this hole. I'm going to slide a long piece of all thread through the hole, and then they'll just be able to screw the all thread to that side, and I'll just pull it right back through, and they won't have to fight with it. And they're running out of PVC because they continue to not pull the PVC out of the form. They just popped this form earlier. So they poured this while I was gone. They poured that column while I was gone, obviously because it's not clean. And they poured that top while I was gone. So today we're pouring this column, that wall, and this top piece. I'm not sure what I want to do with it, but I do want to pour it. So this top piece, I think, is going to go over there in the middle. This is longer because it was the end, so it's going to go in the middle. And it'll just have a longer end on it before it meets the column. Same with, now this is the right width. This is the right width. These are both 10-foot centers, 10-foot center. And then it's a 10-foot center from that column to that column. And then that is a wall though. That won't have any decorative wall. That's going to be like a storage shed. And then the door is going to be right there between those 2 columns. So that's how we're doing that. So, and they don't realize if they would clean that up after they pour, just scrape it right off when they're done pouring. It's so much easier to clean, but they don't do that. And then right here, when they bolted this together, this stub out wall is always there because it's the end of that form right there. So you have this stub out that's right there. That gives you the next wall to attach to. So there was a rock or something in there. So that one rock, either the one on the bottom right there or that up there, caused all that to be wider because it didn't close up onto the other part of the wall. So now you got a wider part because it had something protruding holding it out. So it shouldn't look like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get somebody, maybe Sonny. Man, we'll do it a little bit. We can do it in a little bit. It ain't going to set up real fast. I want that cleaned up. And then after we're done, Manuel will take and clean all this up and make that straight. So, but anyway, yeah, they didn't have this tight against here again, so it got wider than that, but that can all be fixed with rendering and smoothing it out. And this wall is going to have a rough texture anyway. It's going to be sprayed. It's going to have a rough texture. Then the center lines will be painted, maybe gray or something. So it'll be white with gray accents, and it'll look good. But it'll be rough anyway. So that's why I'm not worried about it, because once I spray it rough and paint it, most of that stuff you'll never see anyway. So that's the other side. Let's see how the other side turned out. See, there's a pregnant right there where it bulged out, because this was the last form that we used that was 1/2 inch. But you can see, if you look down there, let me see if I can do the camera here. If you look down there at those columns, I mean, you can eyeball that, and they're bam, 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 straight as an arrow. So that's really good, considering this is what we're working with. When we started, it was just nothing but this. So we've been pouring, and it's been a swamp. You want to add complexity, pour in a swamp. So yeah, Brian had it. He had it difficult learning how to do it the first time. I took some of his techniques, but pouring in the swamp is totally different. So one day you'll be, I think last night when I got home, the water was completely up almost to the top of the form. So, but we're getting it done. I mean, we've got all this almost finished, and that'll be done probably tonight. I'm hoping to get that up there tonight. So yeah, that's what we're working on, and we need to get some more dirt in here, a lot more dirt. So let me, as soon as we get ready to start pouring, I will. I see, like this, don't care if it's that straight. I don't really care if it bulges out. If it bulges out, it'll be stronger, it'll be wider at the bottom. So what I told them to do, I told them not to don't put any screws in the bottom or PVC, because I actually want it to bow out. If it bows out, it'll be wider, it'll take up more surface area, and it'll be stronger. So I'm not worried about it flowing out or bulging at the bottom. So then we're going to tear that wall out, and that's going to be a new wall, and then this will be a storage shed for all the tools and everything right there. And you can see how much garbage there is in this land. So you can see he's walking, it's just spongy. It's just nothing but garbage under there. So we're gonna get a backhoe in here probably and try to get this cleaned up. So anyway, I will come back when we get ready to pour. And we're mixing concrete. I had them clean up the dirt piles. So they were just, the sand was just spreading out, and it's wasting material. Most of this is sand. Like right there, it's all sand, and it's just just wasted. So I had him scoop all this up. He's got my rock, 40 here, 40 shovels there, 40 shovels in the mixer. We're gonna pour probably 8 today, so I'm gonna need to get some more rock in here. I got plenty of sand. So we got the mixer ready with the 40 rock. I need to grease it, and I'm gonna grease it before we get started again. And that's about it. So I'll come back when we start to mix. And I'm building my door tonight. Gasoline?
Gasoline.
Now we're not ready to mix yet though, are we? You ready to pour that? Manuel, are y'all ready to pour that? So they're gonna get ready to pour, so maybe I'll keep the camera on while we do that. So I'll come back and make it a second video for me. So I'll come back when we start pouring. All right guys, so we're starting to mix, and we already started pouring. This is our second mix. What we do is our mix is 40 rock, 20 sand, and 1 Portland. So I had him put 40 rock in this wheelbarrow earlier. I wanted to see how much rock I had, if I had enough. So I think we're going to do six batches on this. Normally they would do 2 batches on the ground, but it was taking forever, so this is a lot faster. So right now, we're pouring. So we're going to fill this form up, concrete, and tomorrow we'll break it apart. So I don't know those look a little wide to me, but I don't know, it don't matter. We're only going down about halfway and then he levels it out, so that'll be okay. So I'll follow my ass here. So we got this one here about ready to go. We've got all the 4-inch spacers in there, and all the 12-inch spacers are in there. And I guess I don't know why we're using black pipe. I don't know how they end up losing all their spacers, but they're not going to use that black pipe. It's not working. So they just start to improvise, and then things start to go haywire. So anyway, this one's about ready to pour. We put the rebar in and drilled down at an angle and then bent it down. So these are ready to, this is ready to pour with the rebar. And let's see what else. I should have probably a 24-inch one around here somewhere. They just didn't, they were just too lazy to find it and pick it up. Like right here. This is my problem. They'd rather spend the time to make a new one than just walk over and find what they need. That's a lot stronger than that black pipe. So that'll take care of that problem. So I guess they seen over there, they were doing it over there, so that's good. That's going to be the new norm. So I'm going to nip that in the bud. So this form here with the crescent on, it's going to go over here in the middle, and then it'll extend out and extend out, and then a column and a column. Same here, this is wider, so this was the end, so it's wider here, and everything else is 10 foot center to center. So except for here, it might be 10 foot, I don't know, but I don't think so. So we'll probably pour this one last, and we'll cut the form, and that'll be the last one we pour with the, well no, actually I'm sorry, that is a solid wall right there. That's a solid wall. The last of these forms will be here, here, and here, and that one over there. Then that form is completely done. And what I'll do is I'll take that out of there. Actually, I'm going to use that form to fix these broken pieces. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. I want to cut this form and going to form them up, the ones that are broken. So I might just take that off there and just make a small piece. Anyway, that's something else I got to figure out. But I've only got 2 weeks to finish all this stuff up, so that's what I'm working on now. So right now they're mixing, like I said, my mix is 1 Portland, 40 rock, and 20 sand. So it's a 1-2-4 mix, or 1-2-4 mix, or 1-4-2, or 2-4-1, whatever you want to say. So yeah, so 1 Portland, 20 sand, 40 rock, and we're trying to figure out what the consistency should be in the water, because we're getting it way too wet. Yeah, so that's 1 5-gallon bucket. That's perfect. Okay, so we're getting the water consistency done. So that's 5 gallons of water, 1 bag of Portland, 40 rock, 20 sand. So now they've got something to measure it with. And if they want to make a little bit more water, they can. Let me look at that mix. Yeah, that's a good mix. That's good. Real good. So, and it's consistent. Mixing it on the ground is not real consistent. You have your water, the water runs out, and then your Portland's running out with that water. So you don't know how much Portland you're getting in your mix. So this is really a stronger mix. And for me, I don't have that much help. The guys around here don't really want to work, so it's not like I can get 20 guys to do a pour. So I'd rather just use the mixer. at this point. So, okay guys, let me get a little bit on this pour done, and I'll get back with y'all in a little bit and make a video when we're done pouring all this stuff. All right, well, maybe I'll let you see this for some comic relief. This is, I'm just gonna put the camera on now. If he dumps this out, because I've told him not to do this. Okay, good. So he actually listened. I want Manuel, which is the strongest guy here, to be the one handling the wheelbarrow, because I don't want that dumped out on the ground. But everybody's working good. Everybody works good now. I've had to rip ass, and I finally got it through to everybody. You know. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. Hi, Chewy. The supervisor's here. Hi, Chewy. Supervisor dog. So see, that's why he broke that off over there, because he climbed up on it and it was green and he broke it off. Then it fell on his foot, scratched his foot all up, but he showed me his foot. I was like, okay, well, I don't feel too sorry for you. You did it on your own. But anyway, before I came here, I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a Sawzall, reciprocating saw. I bought a grinder. I bought a drill with impact. I bought a impact driver and a skill saw. And I brought it all here, and I had batteries, battery chargers. I have an inverter, so I keep my inverter. I'll show you that. I keep my inverter plugged in, and this is where we keep a charging station, so that way I don't have to worry about them plugging it into 220, because the Harbor Freight tools are not 220 compatible. A lot of chargers are, but these aren't. So what I do here is I have my inverter, and it's plugged in to the 220, and it's over here, and I got a power strip, and it basically powers all my inverters. So my chargers. So nobody plugs anything into the wall. They're plugged in directly to the inverter, the 110 volt inverter. So a transformer. So yeah, so this is where we charge all the batteries. I got 4 batteries chargers. I had to buy, while I was here, when I made the windows, I bought a chop saw to cut the aluminum. I had to buy a jigsaw while I was here. I had to buy another reciprocating saw, because the Harbor Freight, the one from Harbor Freight, it worked for about maybe 3 hours and started just locking up. So I've still got some work to do on these windows. I've got to, as you can see, I've got to put the silicone. I got to silicone them in. I got to take every paint out, and I got to silicone them because there's no silicone. But I do like I put in the reflective windows, and I do love them because it blocks out so much of the sun. And so, but I've got the windows are not siliconed in yet. You still see the edge right there of that window. So I got to move them, get them. See, you move it over, that's fine, and then I'll silicone it. So I still got locks to put on and other stuff, but for the most part they're in. And then I got to make some little security bars for them. Like this window here, you can see that window there was a lot taller. It was taller. This window here was taller, and I didn't want it that big. This is our new panel right here. Now the power comes in directly from the weatherhead down through the meter into here, and then it's got a 60 amp breaker that goes up to another panel. So we're getting ready to cover this up. This will be done. But yeah, well, I got a lot of work to do. I don't like this staircase. They're too tall. I want a staircase like Texas Filipino head, where it comes down and it just rounds off. But I'm not sure what I'll have to do that. But this is some really nice lumber here, really nice. But the steps are too tall. They're way too tall, and makes it hard for the baby, and it makes it hard for me as I get older too. It's going to be hard. So, but anyway, we're working on it. So now let's see. I think they're going to have like 6 batches before they're done with this. So anyway, I'll I'll get off here, but I want to see what it takes to finish this pour. They're dumping a lot of rock into it also to help take up the space so we don't use as much cement. But anyway, I'll be back later. This is what, if I had 30 days, could you imagine, I mean 3 months, could you imagine the content I could have had? Building my forms, just everything that I've done. I could have just had content and content, but I've made videos yesterday, went to the island, I'm back here today, we're doing all this today, and I've got to find time tonight to edit them and upload them. So make it on the easy part. It's editing and uploading that takes forever. So anyway, I'll be back when we're done with this pour and show you. And when we start to put that form there together, I'll come back on and show you that. So I'll be back. Boy, I tell you guys something. I almost made a big boo-boo here. And I tell you what, I'm not above making mistakes. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching everything, and I'm just thinking. And I told Sonny, Monsoon, I said, I want that form to be 10 foot center to center for the next column, and then I want 6 foot from the edge of the column to the edge of the column so I can have a 6 foot door. And that's exactly what he did. I measured it, double checked it was right. And I'm sitting over here thinking, and I'm looking, and if you see, this ground already has columns that are coming up that were already put in. There's a bunch of columns all over, and that was for a building that's going to be built here. Well, we're not going to build a building because the ground, to me, is on too much garbage. But what we're going to do is I'm going to use those to help support the floor, and we're going to basically build that like a roof. Then we're going to go on up with more columns. The columns are secure, sturdy, but the ground is not good enough, in my opinion, to put a floor on. So I'm over here looking, and I'm looking at this column right here. You got this column here, which would be the end of the building, and then you've got that column, and so on. And I was like, wait a minute. I told him to put the door. The door would end up being right in front of where this camera's at. You got a column there, and then you would have had that column there, and my door would have been here. Well, guess what, guys? Here's a column, and there's a column. If I have a building here, how in the heck am I going to get anything inside of there? Unless I put a door here and connect them together and all that, which I could do, but which I might end up doing anyway. But so I told him, I walked over, I said, you're gonna hate me. I said, but if we put that door there and we build this building, we're not gonna have anywhere to. So we moved the column to here. That's 10 foot, 10 foot. So now they're 10 foot centers. That gives me 7 foot here. So I'll just build a 7 foot door right here. And even if I have my building here, here's the end of my building, I have access to my door. So that was almost a nice little screw up on my part that I caught because I'm out here watching. So you just need to make sure we're 10 foot centers, which it is, 10 foot, 10 foot. So I'm not sure what happened with the back. Why we got the back with just one in the center, but that's really all we need. That's going to be a wall, just a back wall. So that's column, column, column. That's all you need. The only reason we're putting these two columns here, so technically we only had to really put a column here, but this is better for the front. So anyway, yeah, that was almost a nice mistake on my part. We're getting a load of sand. They bring them in the same thing I've got over here. They bring a load of sand in this. So I'm getting 2 loads of sand and 5 loads of rock today. So that'll be enough to finish all of our pours. And I probably need to get 5 more loads of rock and 2 more loads of sand, and that'll finish up the building and finish everything that I'm going to do before I go home. So, and that's about 8,000 pesos, which is about $160 US. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to let you all know that I almost really screwed up. But you know, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, we could have just tied the building together, and I could have just put a pass through. But then I would have had to go into the building, around, and then into that little storage area. So But that's okay. We'll probably tie it in the end anyway, and it'd be like a storage area for tools or something like that, because this is actually going to be a space where I build airplanes. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build 1 airplane or 2 airplanes a year and sell them, and that's what I'm going to do to retire here. Just a couple airplanes, have a couple employees, we build a couple airplanes, ship them back to the U.S., and we sell them, or Australia, or wherever they may roam. So that's what I'm going to do. And if it gets bigger than that, 2, 3, 4, 5 airplanes a year, so be it. I'll just have more employees. But anyway, I'll get you guys later. That was a mistake I really wanted to point out that I almost made and caught. So talk to you guys later. Good evening, everybody. Well, it's the end of another work day, and we got a lot done. Never get as much done as you want to get done, but we've got all of this right here got poured. So tomorrow this will be done. We'll pull the forms out, and then we can fill this all in, get all this trash out of here, fill this in with good dirt and rock, make it solid, and then find the level for the floor. And once we get that, we can figure out how to make the doorway floor entrance, which the doorway is here now. So that's going to be level with that concrete. So we'll have to level it and figure out how to make that with like a little small wall. Pour the walls, tear this wall out and redo that so it's nice and sturdy again. Get rid of all this wood and stuff that's just laying around, clean this up. So get that done. We finally came over here, got this thing framed up, and got it poured. So it'll be ready to pull the form tomorrow. That'll be good. That's done. Then we're going to take this wall, either going to put it here, or we're going to take it and put it over there and finish that up. I'd like to finish that up over there, to tell you the truth. We got this over here poured, the column. We got the top piece poured, and I'm ready. That turned out really nice, letting it sit longer. Everything else is chipped a little bit, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can put 5 lights out here right now, and that would brighten everything up. But to pour that one means to move all this over from this form here all the way around and over to there. But we need to go on and do it, because it's just going to continue to get worse. And we got Elvis over here trying to light a fire with a lot of wet wood. Going to create a lot of smoke. So I don't know if that's going to work or not. So anyway, we got to get all this cleaned up, all this stuff, bags cleaned up, everything cleaned up. And I want to try to see if the truck can come back here and dump dirt back in this area, because it's really hard. The dirt that he brings has got a lot of rock in it, if you can see it. So it's really good for what we need. Got that rock, so it's really good for leveling the ground and making everything solid. But the problem is it's hard to shovel and move around. So I'm going to try to see if he can maneuver back here a little bit. I don't know. So anyway, but we got to move everything around a little bit so he can get between these columns that have been put up right here. And I'm not sure if they're tied, if they have tie beams underneath the ground, or if they're just columns. I don't have any idea. I hope they put tie beams, but I don't know. So anyway, they've got rebar coming out. You can see where the rebar was coming out, but it since broke off. But so I don't know if they were planning on tying them here and then putting the floor. I don't really know what they were doing, what their thought process was. But I mean, they go down pretty deep, as you can see that one over there. It's real deep, and it hadn't got to the base of it. And I don't know how big the base was that they put. So hopefully it was pretty big. So anyway, I'm going to get off here and get back in before the mosquitoes eat me up. I have to work on my door. I'm going to be building a door. So I went and got some 1x2 and some 2x2, and this is going to be what I use for my door. This piece here was $16, I think, and this piece here was 20 bucks. So it's pretty cheap, and the materials here are pretty cheap. So But this is all I need for what I need. So but anyway, I'll build my door and get there. Maybe do that tonight. I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here. We're gonna go eat. I'll take the GoPro where we eat at. It's called Benaventura, and it's a really nice restaurant. So I might take the GoPro there when we go. So anyway, I will get back with you guys in a little bit as soon as I get cleaned up.